Okay, so today is the day where we're going to be putting in our lower intake manifold valley gasket, and we have our black RTV silicone that came with our kit. I'll put that up here. In your kit, for some reason, one was assembled on mine and the other one I had to put in, but just make sure you have both of these, and they're supposed to go right up top here. Squeeze them in. I'm gonna put some silicone on it. Before you put this gasket in, actually, I'm gonna take this off because I have to anyway. So hold on. Before you put this gasket in, remember, you got a silicone here and here, these two spots, and I'm gonna do a light coat around all the ports. Make sure all this stuff is clean. I did my best with this, but I'm actually gonna use my drill gun that I just fixed, and I'm gonna give it one more shot. It's delicate, it's not that bad, so I don't have to worry about it scratching the aluminum. Don't try to read the words, guys. This is just an illustration on this part to show you how things go together. Alright, so we did it. Like I said, really light coat. This is just for tack purposes. And now we're gonna put her on. Alright, once she's in, remember this bolt in the beginning of the video that I left in because I didn't want to take this out of the way? Well, this is going to help you out. If you're wondering like how to seat it properly, once it gets in, if this doesn't go in its thread position, you know it's not seated right. But once it sinks down, and you can, when you're able to spin it, and it starts grabbing the threads, you know that you have it seated right. And there we go. I caught the threads. So now it's not moving. I know I seated it right. Now I can start putting all the other bolts in and assemble the engine. Alright, when you're putting the bolts in, I know we took them out, but some of them are really dirty, and some of them may have crust on them inside the threads and everything. You got to clean that off. You could use a gun like this, and while this is spinning, just clean the threads out. And then after that, you're going to take a little dab of RTV and put it on the end of the bolt. And when you do this, and when you insert the bolt and you screw it in, the RTV will climb up the threads and it'll dry, and it serves as some kind of a thread locker. Or if you have the thread locker stuff, you could put it in there, but it's really not that necessary to use a thread locker on an intake manifold. Some people say that it is on anything on the engine, you know, for heat and everything, but just make sure a nice high temp silicone goes on here and goes on anything you're doing around the motor. So what I did was the RTV, a little dab at the end, put it in, do it for each bolt, and tighten it up to torque specifications. Okay, well, we got this on, we got everything we need, and now it's time to put the valve covers on. Look how nice and clean that looks. Well, with the exception of that, but I'll get that real quick. Alright, so here's where we're at so far. We got both the valve covers on. We got everything prepped and ready. I got a new 3/8 hose for, this is for the PCV valve. What you want to do is you want to route that through right on the bottom here. There is there's a hose, a delicate one that runs through there. That's for the canister purge solenoid or something like that. And well, we're right where we want to be. And the last thing to do is to put the plenum on and start her up, top off the antifreeze or whatever. But before we do that, I'm going to do some final cleaning, like especially on this, make it look real nice. And our next step is to rebuild the fuel rail. And I'm actually going to make a separate video about that because there's a lot involved. And I want to show you guys what to do to save your fuel rail. And this is my my second time around, because remember I told you guys I never did this before? Well, I had a little problem to where I had to take the top end of the motor off again, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But let's give it a try and see if I got it right this time. Oh, thank God. Hear that squeaky belt tensioner? That's next to be fixed. Alright, well, I'm going to change around a couple of things, so guys, do not be mad at me. But here we go. First off, do you guys see anything different about this engine bay? Well, we're missing the wiper tray. Why are we missing the wiper tray? Because it's 10 times easier to work on this engine or any of its components with it out. And here's why. Removing the plenum from the car or the alternator or anything, it's totally accessible without removing the wiper tray. So if you guys feel that you're too afraid to do a task like this, you don't necessarily have to. You could still do it my way in part 1, but in part 2, when I finished the engine the first time and something went wrong, I said to myself, wait a minute, maybe this is going to be easier. Long story short, I messed up the gasket in the intake valley. The intake valley gasket. When you guys notice in my I keep stuttering today, in my part 1 video, with the plenum and the lower intake and everything else removed, the lower intake valley gasket has 2 metal tabs on each side with a, I believe, 10mm screw bolt or nut that go in on each side. Well, guess what? I mounted everything in, and I forgot to put the 2 well, guess what? I mounted everything in, and I forgot to put the 2 bolts in, one on this side and one on that side. So I had a tremendous vacuum leak. So I had to take the whole upper end of the motor off again. So I was like, damn. So what I did was, I'm like, maybe this will make life easier, and it really does. So here's how you do it. First off, I believe this is called a cowl cover or something like that, but this is what your windshield wiper blades sit on. There are your windshield wiper blades. Your windshield wiper blades, I believe, are held on by 13mm nuts, and you loosen them up. And when you loosen them up, you could give on the wiper blades on the arm right here, you could give it a little hit, I wouldn't give it a little pry because these things are pretty fragile. But give it a little hit because it's pressed on, and it should pop right off. After you get that off, you can have Torx bits. I think it's T40, T45, not sure, and I'm probably totally wrong about that. But if your cars all originally should have a Torx bit here, and you're going to have one here, and with a Phillips head here, but it's supposed to be Torx. So you may find Phillips, you may not. One here, one more right there, and another one on the other side. And you're gonna have like these plastic things that actually they look like Phillips head screws, but they're not. They're actually hooks that you use your Phillips head screwdriver to just turn a little bit, and they pop right out. I had that on my 03 Caravan, but actually whoever replaced the windshield on this way back when, they didn't put them back, so they're absent. So once you get that cover off, you're going to have this wonderful thing called a wiper tray, and it has your wiper transmission, the arms, and everything on it. Your transmission is right there, and it looks. Some of you may think and may get scared. Hey, this is really difficult to take out. It's not. I actually took this whole wiper tray out in 1 minute and 50 seconds. I actually timed it. You're going to have, I believe it's 10mm bolts. You're going to have one right here in the end. You're going to have one right over there, 2 here, and you guys kind of get the gist of that. So after that, you're going to lift. There's going to be oh shoot. So after you remove those bolts, which here are the bolt holes for it, before you go ripping it out, there's 2 10mm nuts. There's one here, one here, one here, one here. You got to remove them before you take the tray out. After that, you grab the tray, you lift it up, and you pull back, and it's going to come out. And then you stick it on top of your van, or you stick it here. And that's how you take the tray out. And guys, don't forget to remove all necessary terminals and plugs. You got a plug right there for the wiper motor, and this is for your washer fluid. You got to remove that stuff. So that's kind of self-explanatory, but I know some of you guys out there don't even know a thing about this stuff. You guys may be computer geniuses, but car illiterate. So if you ever notice why I over-explain things, or if I explain things really in detail, well, those are for the people that are standing here under their Dodge Caravan or whatever car I'm working on, and I'll be like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing. 95 speed GTA, help me out. That's what I'm here for. But anyway, as you can see, look how much room there is. When I took this off, I literally took the top end of the motor off within 15 minutes. Because I know where everything is now, and I know all the bolt sizes and everything. So I fixed that, I put everything back up, and I was done. I fixed my mistake within under a half hour. So YouTubers, this is 95 speed GTA, and this is the end result, and this is how everything's supposed to look like when you put everything back together. My suggestion is, if you ever have to do a brake booster, or you have to do a master cylinder, or anything in this vicinity behind here, it's really easy to take the wiper tray out. Very easy. So guys, this is 95 speed GTA. This engine is running beautiful. Actually, I did a I'm going to be doing a video, well, maybe do a video, but I filled it up with gas, and I did a trip, a 67-mile trip on the highway, and I only used 1/8 of a tank of gas, when I probably would have used a quarter or more the way it was. The PCV system was so messed up on this thing, it was drawing in air from all over the place. I took soapy water and I sprayed it all over here before I did the engine, and that's why it looks so weird like this. I gotta clean the engine bay down, but it was sucking in suds from the oil, from the valve cover gasket, from the lower intake, from the upper intake. The motor was hurting really bad. So guys, 95 speed GTA, I hope you like my videos, and if you have any questions about this, you know to message me. Take care, guys.